it we're heading into summer and it's hiking season, and it will also be tick season. So May and June is the time when baby ticks are being born, and the incidence of Lyme disease goes up greatly in July and August. So Lyme disease has become more of a concern as the number of deer ticks have skyrocketed. So an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and I wanted to just relay the importance. If you're an outdoor enthusiast like me and you're spending time hiking in the woods where deer live, then we need to be proactive and preventative. So one of the first things you can do, especially if you're not too concerned about your appearance, is you can tuck your pants into your socks. So ticks will crawl up the body, and then they will find crevices, so like behind the knees, the groin, and the armpits, and that's where they will latch onto you. And you don't necessarily feel it when a tick latches in and bites you. And ticks are tiny. Some of them are the size of a pinhead. So we really have to be precautious. I love natural medicine, and this is an instance where I don't think that it's enough. So I favor the use of permethrin, which will kill ticks. It is low toxicity. You don't have to put it on your skin. It breaks down on the skin. What you do is you'll wear it on the outside of your clothes, or you can buy clothes that have been treated with permethrin. DEET is an option, but because of the toxicity of DEET, I prefer to avoid that. Essential oils are great. You can use them as a repellent. It most likely, I don't think that it's going to be enough, but you can consider doing what I would do is kind of like a layer on my skin of the oils, tuck my pants in, and then use the permethrin to spray on my hiking boots and on my pants. There are homeopathic formulas by a company called Celtec Homeotherapeutics, and it's tick bites balance 1 and 2. 1 is for prevention and 2 is for treatment. So I would use that alongside of doxycycline. So if you get bitten by a tick and you don't find it within the first day, within the first 24 hours, then I think you should get a prescription of a single dose of 200 milligrams of doxycycline for prevention. So the majority of deer ticks, I've read up to 70%, harbor the spirochete borrelia that leads to Lyme. So for me, the relatively low toxicity of taking a single dose of doxycycline far outweighs the risks if we're preventing the potential disease that can be devastating to the nervous system, to the joint tissue, to the immune system, to the cardiovascular system. So make sure you have a Lyme literate doc that you can connect with and who can make that prescription for you. I cannot prescribe it in Washington, D.C., unfortunately, and not all doctors will. Not all doctors are Lyme literate. Some will say, oh, well, let's watch and wait. And then if you've been infected, it's just harboring in your system. And less than 50% of people will develop the bullseye rash. So that's not really worth it as a diagnostic criterion. Sometimes the rash will take over a month to even come out if it does. So pretty interesting to be hearing a naturopathic doctor say, get your doxycycline, but because one dose of that can be so preventative against what is such a chronic illness that really affects your quality of life, I think it's worth it. So what the homeopathic remedies will do is just support your immune system. So say I found a tick and I know it was much less than 24 hours, I would still want to have that in my body just for safe and effective prevention. And have a friend check you and use a flashlight because, like I said, these ticks are tiny and they can be hard to find. If you're spending a whole day outside or camping, it's great to do several checks a day if you can. They are recommending checking every 2 to 3 hours. So I don't think there's been enough information out there to prepare people for tick season. I don't mean to make you scared of yet another pathogen that's in the environment, but I think that with the proper precautions, we can all be empowered to have some really successful prevention and enjoy our time outside this summer.